I mean, I almost probably don't even need to blow. Look at that. So if I think about making fire outdoors, especially if I think about making fire without matches, without a lighter, then honestly, I don't recall the last time I made a fire in the wild where I didn't use some kind of Tinder bundle. And if someone is looking to master the art of making fire without matches, so be that fire by friction, be that using natural fire lighters, even if it's, you know, flint and steel, then you're probably already becoming really proficient at identifying, making and using really good Tinder bundles. And for me, the process of going from, say, nothing, fashioning some tools or foraging for the right things, to heat, from heat to flame, and from flame to fire, if I think about that process, then it was always the Tinder bundle that struck me as the weakest link. I mean, a standard Tinder bundle looks something like that, and it's perfectly good. It'll do its job. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a bundle of Tinder. But I honestly found that the most fragile bit. It felt like I had least control. It felt like if there was a point where it became frenetic, or I kind of felt like I didn't have control, it was at this point. So what I did, I started kind of fashioning and reworking how I made the Tinder bundle. And what I find is, for the tiniest bit more application, it's almost negligible how much, you know, there's no more work really. And for a little bit of practice, that you can end up making a Tinder bundle that's like this. Now, the thing about this is, once I get a great deal more control, and I can control the burn, I can control the rate of burn, I can even to a degree control the shape of the burn. I get a lot more functionality from one of these, and I can even put these out once the fire's going, do a bit of repair work and use it again the next day. So I think for a little bit more application and a bit of practice, this is almost something that if ever you had to use the skills for real, this would be the kind of thing that would actually, or could, again, give you another edge. It could give you the edge. So what I intend to do today is go down in the woods, just in the valley a little bit, try and avoid the rain, and just show you how to make a Tinder bundle that's just fractionally different than what you're used to, but then also maybe show you how its different functionality works. And if you're still not convinced, then what I'd like to show you, it's actually started now, is that throughout the whole making of this take, this Tinder bundle's actually been a light. And I'll show you what I mean. And there we go. So let's go and see how to make one of these. So even though it's quite an old English wood, and there's not so much in the way of what one might traditionally consider good tinder, there are little pockets of stuff lying around. And what I'll do is gather bits of this as I come across them. It's quite long and stringy. And I'm not really sure what this is, but it's dry and it's kind of really fibrousy. So I'm also going to grab a length of this to add to the collection. So here's what I've just gathered in the last kind of 15-20 meters, and what I'm going to do, this is all quite a long and stringy, and it's not traditional tinder, but what I'm going to do is use the flexibility of it and the length and stringiness of it, and I'm going to bend it around. What I'm going to do is form a kind of rosette, like that. And it's what we've got here now naturally is a kind of hollow in here, and I've got like a natural kind of handly bit here, and this is starting to take shape of the Tinder bundle kind of form that I want. And I've just seen this lovely sort of little copse of grass, little clump of grass, so I'm just going to grab a little tiny bit of this for a moment. Actually, this is perfect because it's a little bit green, you can see, and it's a little bit damp. So I'm not actually going to use this as my tinder, but I'm going to use it in my bundle. Now, that's not normally what I would use. I'd probably normally use a bit of vine or something, but that's worked really, really nicely. Got a nice kind of rosette formed there. I've got a really nice core to it. So I can now start filling this core. So as the sun breaks through, I've come across a little copse of silver birch trees, and silver birch bark is one of the great natural firelighters, because silver birch bark takes a flame, catches a flame really easily, even when damp, and it burns very hot and fierce, and really quite long for what it is. It burns almost as if somebody's dipped it in paraffin. Because of that, I'm not actually going to use any of this today in the Tinder bundle. In fact, what I'll do is I'll make 2 Tinder bundles today, and with one of them I won't use any of this, but with the other one I'll show it with a little bit of silver birch bark in it. And the reason I won't use it is it is such a good natural firelighter that it's almost tantamount to cheating. So I'll make 2 today, one with and one without, so you can see the difference. Okay, what I've also just found here is a little tiny crop of old man's beard. They're seed pods, and again, these are one of nature's natural firelighters. Fire starters. They're amazing. They just take a spark. In fact, they're so good again that I'm not going to use these in the Tinder bundle I'm making. And I'll put them in the second one alongside the silver birch. Again, it's kind of tantamount to cheating using this, but that's a very, very good piece of tinder. And the other thing I found as well that's worth sort of pointing out is a possible similar kind of binding is a little bit of vine that I found. And again, as long as it's got some flexibility, which that has, then there's no reason why you can't use that as well. And so now I've got a tinder bundle, really quite robust. And then what I've got is a lovely, because of the rosette, I've got a lovely cavity here. And so in here, that's where I can start to put the things that I've gathered on the way. Some of the sort of finer tinders. Things that will burn well, things that will burn fast, things that will burn hot. And the beauty is, something's going to go. I also found here on the way, it's quite well worth pointing out, often behind the barks of certain trees, you'll often find a kind of fibrous-y quality behind a lot of barks of trees, or behind some certainly. If you kind of squish it up a little bit, it becomes really fibrous-y and really fine. So I'm going to pop some of that in there as well, and we end up with a core in here which has got all sorts of mixture. The whole thing holds together wonderfully, and we'll be able to get that going. But before we do, I'm going to make the second one now, because that's the one I'm going to put the 2 natural firelighters, the silver birch and the old man's beard, in. So I'll do that now. And then with this one, I'm going to do the same things I had before. So I'm going to pop the other bits and bobs of tinder. But what I'm also going to add to this, a handy rock here. So this is the silver birch I found. And I'm just going to work this in here, and then I'm also going to work the old man's beard in that I found. And I also found a piece of dandelion seed, so we'll pop that in there as well. And that's now become a Tinder bundle that I would be happy that would just go with any spark, you know, in a heartbeat. And this one is a very functional one, and they're both just, you know, super useful. So let's go and light those and see those in action. Okay, so this is the traditionally made one, the one without the natural cheats in it. What I'm going to do, put this one into flame. Should be pretty easy, to be honest. May even go with the wind. The rain has stopped, but not long. Going to go straight away, I think. There you go, look at that, it's incredible. Turn it to the wind, and as I said, the advantage of these is you can control the burn and the blaze. So that's that one, and then I'll just dampen this one down a little bit to show the other advantage of them, which is that, you know, once you've got your fire going, you can put it out, repair this, use it again tomorrow. Perfect. Pop that one over there, and then this one here I can feel where the rain's been, so it might take a couple of goes, but there you go. And there you go, and again, same principle. I can then control it. I can turn it to the wind, turn it up, or I can turn it away and turn it down. But there you go. Okay, it took a couple of goes, but it did rain in the meantime. But look at that. And this is the effect of the silver birch. It's a piece here, and it burns like it's got oil in it. You know, it's thick black smoke. I've got some footage of that going, so there you go. Tinder bundles. Easy.